Hello everyone. This is my WrestleMania 42 fantasy card for WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. This card that I put together has 18 matches, 9 matches on night 1, 9 matches on night 2. It features 9 championship matches and 9 matches where no title is on the line, but there's lots of story and they are big time grudge matches between two stars with a lot of story between them. Let's get started with night 1. Kicking off WrestleMania 42 will be a United States Championship match between Dominik Mysterio and Rey Mysterio, father versus son for the United States Championship. The next match will be a big-time heavy-hitting match between Jacob Fatu and Gunther. The next match will be a big-time women's match in the mid-card with no title on the line between Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. Two of the biggest women's wrestlers alive today, two of the biggest women's wrestlers of all time, collide at WrestleMania, Bianca versus Charlotte. We have a tag team match to unify the two men's tag team titles in WWE, to unify the WWE Tag Team Championships and the World Tag Team Championships. We have Rey Fenix and Penta versus the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, with Big E as the special guest referee. The WWE and World Tag Team titles are unified to create an undisputed men's tag team champions, the New Day versus Penta and Rey Fenix. Here's a really fun one. We're hearing rumors of AJ Styles being on his way out of WWE, and we're hearing rumors of Chris Jericho being in his way to WWE. What if Chris Jericho returns to WWE by going to TNA? And what if AJ Styles leaves WWE by going to TNA? And we can have the first ever TNA World Championship match at WrestleMania. The first time ever the TNA title will be on the line at WrestleMania. Chris Jericho winning the TNA title and defending it for the very first time at WrestleMania versus AJ Styles. AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho for the TNA World Championship. Here we have a 6-man tag team match because you need some breather matches on WrestleMania cards. But not only breather matches, but matches where new talent gets a chance to show what they can do on WrestleMania and get a big-time WrestleMania victory. So we have a 6-man tag where The Miz and R-Truth reunite and they team up with Angelo Dawkins after a Street Profits breakup to take on Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, and Montez Ford. And of course, Hayes, Williams, and Ford will get the victory at WrestleMania. Let's make history by having the WWE title defended for the first time at WrestleMania in a fatal 4-way. Even better, let's make history by having the WWE title on the line in a ladder match for the first time in WrestleMania history. And let's make even more history on top of that, where we have 4 members of the original bloodline colliding for the WWE Championship. Sami Zayn, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, and who I have as the WWE Champion heading into WrestleMania, Jey Uso, a fatal 4-way match between these Bloodline members. The original Bloodline collides in a ladder match for the WWE title. Jey Uso defends against his brother Jimmy, his brother Solo, and of course, Sami Zayn. Here's a big time match, Brock Lesnar versus Braun Breaker. This one's obvious. This match needs to happen at WrestleMania. You can have Paul Heyman in Braun Breaker's corner. And what I thought would be a really, really cool finish to this match, what if Braun Breaker took Lesnar to Spear City instead of Suplex City, then hit Lesnar with an F5, and if that's not good enough, imagine this. Braun Breaker goes to the top rope and hits a shooting star press on Brock Lesnar. This obviously is a reference all the way back to WrestleMania 19, one of Brock Lesnar's most famous moments in his professional wrestling career. Brock Lesnar failed to hit the shooting star at WrestleMania 19, but at WrestleMania 42, Braun Breaker will hit the shooting star and he will use it to defeat Brock Lesnar in a big time collision. The main event of night one of WrestleMania 42, I have the women's undisputed championship on the line, as Tiffany Stratton will win the women's world championship and unify those two titles. So there is one world title for the women. She will do that at the Royal Rumble when she defeats Io Sky for the world championship. And then she will defend the undisputed women's world championship against the Royal Rumble winner, Jade Cargill. Yes, they've had matches already this year, but Tiffany will become undisputed champion by this time, and Jade will win the Royal Rumble, and they will have their final collision at WrestleMania 42 for the undisputed Women's World Championship. Then we head into night two. Opening up WrestleMania 42, night two, is the Intercontinental title. Drew McIntyre defends against Sheamus. Sheamus's career is on the line. If he fails to win the Intercontinental title, he must leave WWE forever. History will be made. Sheamus will either win his first ever Intercontinental title at WrestleMania and finally closing that story in his career, or his career is over. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental title. We have an 8-woman ladder match with the United States and Intercontinental titles on the line. Not winning both titles at the same time. Think WrestleMania 40 when you had the two sets of men's tag team titles hanging from the top and you had two different winners of the match. That's the style I'm thinking here. But you have Becky Lynch defending her title, Julia defending her title against Bayley, Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Michin, and Stephanie Valkyr. 8 women, 2 titles on the line, a big time ladder match for WrestleMania 42 Night 2. You have LA Knight versus Joe Hendry. And I'm thinking Joe Hendry will be a heel at this point. He will turn heel when he goes into WWE, and you have LA Knight versus Joe Hendry at WrestleMania 42. This match is 16 years in the making, maybe longer than that, depending, 17 years in the making, 18 years in the making. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton in a match nearly 20 years in the making. They've wrestled this year, earlier in this year, but at this point, this will be a grudge match. Randy will turn heel before this WrestleMania. He will cost Cody Rhodes the WWE Championship at some point, and they will collide at WrestleMania with no title on the line. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, nearly 20 years in the making. Here's a really cool mixed tag team match. You have the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, taking on Uncle Howdy and Alexa Bliss, who will of course join the Wyatts at this point. Uncle Howdy and Alexa Bliss versus Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, with their souls on the line. If Priest and Ripley lose, their souls belongs to Uncle Howdy and Alexa Bliss, and they will essentially be forced to join the Wyatts. You have another career match here, Asuka versus Kairi Sane. If Asuka fails to win her first ever WrestleMania victory, she must retire. She faces off against her tag team partner, a much younger competitor, a woman that knows her better than anyone, and if Asuka fails to get her first victory at WrestleMania, she must retire. Asuka versus Kairi Sane. This match is 15 years in the making. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, with a steel chair being legal. Everything else is illegal, but it's a steel chair match. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Do we need to say any more? A big time match, 15 years in the making. You have the women's tag team titles on the line. Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez versus AJ Lee and Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan, when she returns, teaming up with AJ Lee, that could make for some really, really interesting TV. Roxanne and Raquel versus Liv Morgan and AJ Lee. And the main event of WrestleMania 42, Punk versus Paul. two outsiders, the world title on the line, CM Punk versus the Royal Rumble winner, Logan Paul.